Gill's doing good. He's got cleared to do everything. Obviously, he's getting through some kinks. Obviously, after any surgery, you're always getting comfortable with your body and really reassuring yourself that the confidence that you need to have back in that leg. But I think he's doing really good. He's been turning it up lately and getting after it. So I don't see no problems going into it now. Defensively, I think he still needs to kind of reassure himself that he can move, but the doctors and everybody have told us that he's cleared, that he's good to go. He just needs to figure it out himself that he's good to go. But defensively is where I seen him kind of be a little worried some when it comes to going laterally or in any direction. To be honest with you, he's a little concerned, I think, with it. But and every once in a while you'll see him hobble around a little bit, but he gets over and he's pushing it more now. Now that the doctors have reassured him, he's really starting to push himself even more. With Dominic and Yo-Yo, they're talents, very good talented players. Their ceilings are real high. Defensively, Dom is a really good defensive shortstop, and his bats really come along. He showed good approaches at the plate. He has a lot of sneaky juice for a small guy, to be honest with you. We saw him hitting some balls out of the park to the opposite field way as a shorter guy, which you don't get to see that much, but shows you the strength that he has. And Yohani's a very special talent. That type of talent doesn't make it to campus if it wasn't for a 5-round draft. So, but on top of that, the person that he is, really hard worker, extremely dedicated, coachable, doing a great job, both of those guys.
Awesome. We're going to go to David Frones of the Sun Sentinel. David, go ahead.
Hey, Coach. I wanted to ask about how this recruiting class sort of came together, and also with the pandemic. Were there any specific changes that you had to make in your strategy, or how to evaluate guys, or how to approach them, and just what the whole process was like in this altered recruiting cycle?
Yes, the class got together a long time ago. We recruit these guys as 9th graders and 10th graders. So a lot of times these guys committed to us in their 10th grade year. So, but the one thing we've learned, or Gino have really taught us here, especially being a recruiter here at the University of Miami, is that you need to re-recruit your guys. So the one thing that the pandemic allowed us, because, you can only bring in people so many times on campus to win them over, to show them why the path to college is more important than pro ball, the Zoom allowed us to meet with them a lot more. And that interaction, even though it's not, in person, you are like we are right now, we're virtually, that interaction helps out. And it gave us a lot more opportunities to show them why they need to pick the college route over the pro route. And again, that's biased. That's our opinion. Everybody else has their own opinions out there, but that's what we tell and we back it up. We back it up with statistics and what we've done in the past. And the 5-round draft did help us. So when you talk about the COVID, having the 5-round draft is what really helped us. But that 5-round draft was everybody else had to deal with as well too. We got very fortunate that our guys had a high ticket number, and they valued education a lot. And I think a lot of that has to do with the PowerPoints and everything that Gino made us do for our incoming guys, to show them why the path through college gives you better statistics to make it to the big leagues, in our opinion.
Awesome. Lopes, we have time for a couple more. We're going to go to David Wilson of the Miami Herald. David, go ahead.
I want to ask you a little bit about the 2 freshman pitchers. Obviously, you're not working with them now, but just the recruitment of them. Obviously, they're both big-time recruits. What do you remember kind of the first time you saw them? What stood out over – I'm sure you've been, like you said, been recruiting them since they were 14 years old or whatever.
Yeah, they're elite talent. I mean, them standing out is not that hard to see. They're always been the best players in the nation. Those 2 guys, the thing that we got lucky is that they wanted to be Canes. Since they were little, they wanted to be Canes. They're here from Miami. They wanted to be around their family. They grew up wanting to be a Cane. They came to our ballpark to see games. And we were very blessed to have talent like that around our area that really wanted to be here. But with that being said, we hit them hard because a lot of schools were recruiting them. Everybody in the country were recruiting them. And we had to show them the same love and show them how we were going to develop them. And having a guy like JD Arteaga on your staff, which has known to teach guys how to pitch, because those guys in the recruiting process, and they know it themselves, they were good throwers. Now they're coming here with JD, which JD's specialty is to teach them how to pitch versus being a thrower. And that's why we've seen significant jumps from them as they've been here. But the recruiting process was no other. We hit them with all forks as much as we can because we didn't want to lose them. That's one thing, So we got very lucky that their dream school was Miami. And that's why we're blessed to have people like that come to our university that are that talented, because it means a little bit more when something is your dream school. So both those guys, Maderos and Rosario, it didn't take long to convince them. But then after that, the harder part was convincing them not to go to pro ball. That was the harder part.
All right, Lopes, our last question for you comes from Josh White of WVUM. Josh, go ahead.
Hey, Lopes, how are you?
How you doing? Good to see you again.
Good to see you, Lopes. 2 questions for you real quick about the 2 California kids. Chad Bourne, freshman, who seems like he hit pretty well in the fall. Just what have you seen from him? And then just Jared Thomas, kind of his progression. Obviously had a shortened freshman year, but how has he improved his game heading into his second year?
Well, I'll start off with Chad. Chad's, again, one of those talents that we're very lucky to have. He's very, as it comes to a hitter, we do a lot of metrics now. We have our indoor facility that we do blast motions and all that. His metrics are as high as Del Castillo's metrics. Just to tell you how high his metrics are. That should paint you a picture there. His approach for a freshman is so advanced. The way he takes pitches and the way he takes a swing, how his bat's so long in the zone. And then on top of that, he's fearless. He's diving into walls out there as a freshman. He's normally freshmen normally stick out on fly ball communications as outfielders because they're a little timid. They don't want to call people off and stuff like that. And Chad is like diving all over the place, calling people off, just taking action into his own hands out there, which sometimes people are scared to do that. So we're very pleased with him. He's somebody to definitely keep a watch. We got Jenkins, which is a veteran guy, so he's going to learn a lot from him. But if anything happens, he's going to get an opportunity, and that's going to be a good competition to watch between those 2 guys. But then on top of that, Jared's really improved with his catching. That's one of the things that him and I talked about before he left. We needed to improve his catching, especially his receiving. So we've done some changes there. He was a big funnel guy, and we worked on changing his technique to a work through method. So he's working through the ball now when he receives more, and that seems to help him out more. And he's gotten a lot better at that. He's always had a strong arm, very athletic type of guy. So that's never been a problem. It was more his receiving that we really worked on really hard. But what we've seen a huge jump in this fall has been his bat, which we've seen. We know the potential is there. He hit a ball 415 feet dead center, hit the top of the batter's eye a couple games ago. So we've seen a huge improvement with him at the plate.